Our problem is that the building, in a sense, isn't fit for purpose, as it in all sorts of ways.
The amount of traffic that comes around the ring road must be unbelievable. But you say to people who drive round every day, we're at St John's Church, and they don't know it.
If we can grow this community, acknowledging that there is, the church, the spirituality, the need for worship, etc. here, it's not going to grow unless something sparks it off.
This is a workshop that brings various people around the table. People that are coming to this place for completely different reasons. So what is important to achieve is to try to create an environment where people can share their interest and they can explain what's their relationship with this place. That was the purpose of this workshop, to allow them to build connections and slowly to develop a purpose statement or different purpose statements that they want to achieve. We have one question which is about what is special about this place. So that is an opportunity for you to share with all of us what is important in this place. What do you want to communicate to others about this place? And we have some postcards where you can write your message and on what is special in this place, and maybe the person or organization that you want to communicate this message to. And the other table is forward-facing, and it's what's the potential of the place, what these places could be. So we invite you to annotate and write down notes on what this place could be.
I think we've tried to keep the door open as wide as possible so that when folk have come and said, can we use, can we have a birthday party in here? Well, I mean, yes, you can. That's something to celebrate. That's something that builds life and enhances life.
It's a community. It's not just a religious group, if that makes sense, which gives it some strength, I think.
I'm Stuart Scott. I'm the minister here at St John's United Reformed Church in Stourbridge. I'm standing in the nave of the building, which is currently empty because the pews are removed back. We have chairs that we put in because this building is currently now largely used not for Sunday worship but for a range of community activities. We're seeking to build the bridges between the worshipping life, the Sunday congregation and the various community groups that are already operating here, and seeking to explore how we might expand that use. And I suppose particularly seeking in what ways we honour the heritage and treasure what's been handed down to us, but find ways of adapting, developing, renovating and repairing in some places what we have so that it becomes more fit for purpose for the wider use that we're looking for.
In this session, we would like to start thinking and developing a sense of purpose, or purposes, as I said, about the group. So that's the overall objective. And on the table we have these big sheets of paper that have three themes on the paper. It's talk about priorities, things that you want to do or you want to achieve in this place, concerns, what is essentially the obstacles for achieving your aspirations, and principles, which is more about values, what you want to achieve by doing a change in this place or by bringing certain activities and uses in this place. Take a time for yourself and write down on post-its 1 to 3 priorities that you have for this place, 1 to 3 concerns, and 1 to 3 values. After that stage, we will work as a group, in the different tables, and trying to cluster them into shared and conflicting priorities and concerns. And in the third stage, what we're going to try to do is to combine these statements and start writing purpose statements. So combine values with principles and priorities to start writing some purpose statements. So essentially, this is a tool that helps us think in stages what should be our purpose or the purposes.
It's about engaging people in what's going on. So I've just put more people involved in taking responsibility.
If I summarize that, then it is exactly the purpose is to have very speedy decisions about how this space can be used in a clever way and respecting the worshipping community.
Yes.
I've become conscious that so much of the activity that goes on in the building is invisible to the church congregation.
And next one.
Cost of heating.
Cost of heating. Oh, yes, of course.
Does that go with? I've got that under concern because obviously whenever you want to do anything in there, we have to heat the whole place up.
However, it has lived with this kind of cloud somewhere out here.
But it's always lived with that cloud.
Well, I suppose what this is saying is, do we lift that cloud and actually go forward in a more dynamic and positive way?
The final stage is to start trying to think and reflect on what you have written on your flip charts, on your this sheet of paper, and trying to combine priorities, concerns, and values that you have discussed in order to create a purpose statement. So a purpose statement is what you want to do and the reason that you want to do it.
To sustain and grow the church's communities, including, of course, obviously the church of the faith community, so that St John's is known and provides for its communities a warm, caring and reflective environment, providing a dynamic, non-judgmental experience in its activities and environment.
Unless you've got a strategy and you know where you're going for the next, say, 5 years or so, then you're on a high-risk path.
For the other groups, just to use that phrase for the moment,
Yeah.
does it matter that it's a church?
Thinking now about what it might look in 10 years' time if we want to save it as a community resource. And what does that mean?
The challenge for me is, since we do need a bigger worshipping congregation. Partly because that is the dog that has to wag the tail, if that makes use that language.
Everybody's saying from different perspectives that there's mutual respect and value in both sides of the coin, you know, and likewise the radio station is saying actually if we have to move we'd be really sad because actually we value the place for what it is and our relationship. So there's a lot of synergy there.
The people that are connected with you are not, they're not necessarily here today. And that makes it challenging because you want to work with them to define this space and define what's the future of this place, and they're not here. In order to be able to run community-led design projects, it is important to develop a sense of common purpose or common purposes, because that is the driver that connects people and makes them work together and share resources and share ideas.
Recognising that the challenges are there and they're real challenges, and there is a tendency perhaps to hide from them or to pretend that they're not there, but using the opportunity, embracing the opportunity to actually raise the significant questions, and to recognise that there are ways through them, and there is the capacity there to be more positive, rather than just seeing this as a burden to be carried.